Hello, Gremlins! It's a bit of a different video today because instead of making something new on camera for you all to see, I want to show off some things I've made off camera over the last few months. Some of these were made before my recent disability flare, some of them were worked on during, and some of them were completed in the aftermath. But all of them are small enough projects that I didn't really feel like filming them. However, I'm really proud of them and want to show them off. So in somewhat chronological order, we start with this lily pad-shaped bath mat. I randomly got the inspiration to redecorate my bathroom right at the beginning of the year, and one of the things that I did before that inspiration died halfway through the project was make myself a lily pad bath mat. The bath mat is made of 2 layers of toweling, one that I bought new and cut into shape, and one that was my housemate's and was old and stained anyway, as the backing fabric. Around the two, to both attach them together and to keep the raw edges hidden and safe for machine washing, I put bias binding tape. And when I machine washed it the first time and realized I hadn't done the bias binding tape quite right, I added patches like this out of felt and extra bias binding to cover the frays. The next project is one I've been working on for months. A moss blanket. This is made of a variety of knitted rectangles and squares that I've just been working on in class and while watching TV, and basically anytime I have downtime and need something to do with my hands and don't have another active project going on. I've collected so much green yarn for this, and I ran out of so much green yarn working on this, and this has inspired another project with a very similar vibe that will actually appear on the channel. So stay tuned for more knitted moss in whenever that is finished, because knitting takes a while. The blanket is made up of various different types of patches. Some are very textured, with like yarn that I found that actually mimics the texture of moss, which was a really good find. Some are made with 2 different yarns in one patch, like 2-stranded knitting basically, which I discovered how to do partway into the project and really enjoy. And some are just a single plain yarn knitted to fill space, but it still works. I've had this compared to both moss and to a landscape from above, like an aerial view of like fields and stuff, and both are good interpretations. There have been a couple issues since I started using this on my bed, namely, I'm a bit rougher with it than the sewing of the patches together probably warrants, so this does require a couple repairs every now and then, but otherwise it's such a good project and I'm so happy with it. Next up, we have a project that I did while just recovering from my disability flare, because it was kind of obvious that I needed it. This is a meds chest, and I'm not going to open it very much to show the inside. It does open, it's a shoebox that I painted, however I don't really want to show off all the meds I'm on. That feels like a bit of an invasion of privacy. However, I do want to show off the outside of the box, because I painted it with patches of moss, and with plants, and with mushrooms, and obviously it's got the chest-like metal bindings and corner thingos that I don't know what they're called, and a lock on the front. On the front, I even added a little pill symbol on one side and a little cross symbol on the other to represent the fact that this contains medicine. Next up, we have a project for someone else. This is a bag that I made for one of my friends as a thank you for how much he helped me while I was having my disability flare. I've done several artistic projects for different friends, but this is one of the ones that I want to show off, partly because it's a physical art piece, not digital, and partly because I'm just really proud of this one. So, on the outside, it is a sewing bag, a tote bag designed for sewing supplies, and it's got a painted sun on the flap and a painted moon on the main body. But the inside is where it really shines, because not only did I custom paint a star patterned lining, because I couldn't find any good fabrics in the store I was looking for, but I've made this bag have 2 separate compartments. And in one compartment, there is, it's kind of hard to show this on camera given it's the inside of a bag. Hang on, I can turn this inside out for this. One compartment contains a pencil holder section, it contains a sheath for a pair of sewing scissors, and it contains a little magnet in a fabric bag that can be used for finding any lost pins or needles, or just generally sewing detritus that is magnetic. So yes, I am very proud of this bag, and I can't wait to give it to my friend, and I've already sent photos of it to him, and I'm so excited by his reaction, so I can't wait to give it to him in person. Now, this is a little bit out of order, but the ultimate project I'm going to show off is a project that I need to take the camera to because it is stuck to several doors, and I don't want to move them and then re-stick them up. So before we get to that, this is a project that I'm working on currently. This is a camping chair. It is a camping chair that I'm reverse engineering because my father has a camping chair bought from a store that works like this, but with straps going here, that basically turns a thermarest into a sittable chair with a backrest. And I have used this on several camping trips borrowed from my father, however, he would like it back, and I figured I have the sewing hubris to be able to reverse engineer this as long as I could permanently borrow some canvas and straps from my dad to use for the structure. So the front of the structure is a little bit boring, but being me, I made the back of the structure very interesting, because depending on which direction I put the seat, either I'll be showing off a mushroom and 2 ferns, or a fern and 2 mushrooms. Also, these channels on the back hold plastic poles that will give this chair structure so that I can actually lean on the backrest and it won't just collapse behind me. And now come with me around my apartment to show off the ultimate project I've worked on recently, which I'm very proud of. Hopefully my mic being bumped didn't cause a bunch of noise, I just realized that I did that. But I'm very proud of it, and it's just the perfect decor for me, so come with me. This is my pantry door, and these signs were made for a class project where I made an installation sculpture that looked like a planted Fae portal with warning signs all around the outside that the Fae have graffitied. So in this case, the warning signs originally said, "Don't eat their food," with a large X through food supplies, as a warning against the belief that eating the Fae's food will screw you over slightly. However, the Fae want you to eat their food and become their permanent servants, so the Fae have scratched out the word "don't" in green paint, and also, in general protest of the signs, have covered the signs in moss and ferns and various overgrowth. And then on my bedroom door, we have 2 more signs from the same project. The top one is a Fae activity warning sign. This is actually not the original sign that was in the art installation. However, the original sign that was in the art installation, which I'll put a video up here, it fell out of my bag on the way home, and I didn't notice until I got home, and I didn't want to go back out in the rain to get it. So it sat in the rain for 2 or 3 days before I found it again, and it's a little worse for wear. So I replaced it with a second version of the exact same sign. Right below is a sign that just reads Fae activity, and obviously it's fine. The Fae have graffitied that it's fine, and it's totally fine, don't worry about it. And then the final sign is a do not enter sign that has been graffitied with "Come on in," because the Fae want you there. They're your friends, they want you there. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Everything will be okay. Nothing bad can go wrong at all. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this different format of video where I just show off a bunch of things that I've done off camera and I'm proud of. I probably won't do it super often because now that I am more recovered and back in the swing of things, most of the creative projects I'm doing that aren't for class are being filmed. However, every once in a while I'll have a collection of small projects that I didn't bother to film, and if you are interested in this type of format, I'm happy to continue showing off the random things I make, as I'm always making multiple things at once, and I love the process of making and the process of sharing what I make. But anyway, until I next see you for a more normal making video, bye!